Hello, everyone. Welcome to the November Layer 7 office hours. I'm Pam Deason, the marketing manager for Layer 7. We have, as presenters today, we have Jimmy Leeuw and Thijs Bazijn, both from Enable You. But before I turn it over to them, I just want to do a few housekeeping type things and let you know, first of all, we do have a conference next week or week after next, sorry, December 3rd through 5th in Paris. It's the API days. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we do have some free passes and the ability for you to join us for dinner. So after this, our office hours, I will send out the recording and I will also send you a link in case you're interested in joining us there in Paris, again, December 3rd through 5th. And then the other thing I wanted to make sure you're all aware of is that you're hard muted. In other words, you cannot come off mute. However, you can type questions in. So during Jimmy and Thijs's presentation, should you have questions, feel free to type them in, and then we will take time at the end to answer those questions. And we will also at the end give you the ability to unmute yourself so that if you choose to wait and just ask those questions verbally directly of them at the end, you can also do that as well. So again, thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy, I think, to get us started.
Yep, that's correct, Pam. I hope everyone can hear me. Thanks for your intention also to host this session. Yeah, I'm Jimmy Leeuw. I've been working with Layer 7 for over 11 years now, and I'm joined by my colleague Thijs. And today we're showing you some awesome stuff that we've built with the Layer 7 gateway with Salt Security. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of the demo, which Thijs is going to do, I'm going to give you a quick overview on what Salt Security is and what it does on top of the Layer 7 gateway. So it's not going to be a salesy presentation. It's going to be more focused about giving you intel on Salt Security and how you could connect that to the gateway. And we've actually pre-built something inside the gateway policies to make that happen. So let's start it off. I'm gonna click my screen. Topics that we will discuss today. A brief overview of Salt Security. Most of you probably known or seen something about it by now. How we tackle the integration with Layer 7. We actually worked alongside the team of Aaron, along with Christian, to build something fully automated, working with Grafman also. Then I will tell you a little bit about the use cases that we have currently implemented. Everything is now ready in our demo environment. And yeah, actually we're in two POVs right now, showing this to potentially willing Layer 7 customers who also wanted to start using Salt Security. Yeah, and then Thijs will wrap it up with a demo on how he has built that stuff in Layer 7. Yeah, he will reveal a tiny bit how he built it, and then he will show it how it looks from the Salt Security side and how that can impact the gateway. And then, yeah, as a wrap up, as Pam already mentioned, yeah, just questions, put them already in the chat. I can see them. But also, if you want to talk to me directly after, yeah, let's open up that channel. So a little bit about Salt Security, and obviously the hacking business, API business is what we're all here about, right? So Gartner has identified that in 2022 that the most abuses that hackers or outside people actually attack APIs with is actually attacking APIs, right? So this is not just the small players in the business. At the top right, you see a lot of big names actually also under API attacks. And what we have learned from that is, yeah, the approach that hackers use is actually a little bit changed from the past. In the past, it was interesting, right? You had a couple of few APIs, mostly static data. Attacks were slow, so one API call, one thread, and one attack. that changed. And we saw that change happening like at the early 2020s probably. But right now we have a bucket load of APIs. We have extensive usage of data. We have extensive usage of shared data. And also what we have seen in the change that we work with, for instance, take Expedia, for instance. Expedia has a lot of APIs, has direct connections to airlines, has direct connections to anywhere in the world, but that's trusted, right? If Expedia makes an API key, then American Airlines has that API key, and it trusts each other. So what hackers are trying to do is they try to simulate, if they're Expedia, they try to simulate in a long and slow attack without noticing attacks through your system. So what happened to Expedia actually a couple of months ago is the real target was American Airlines actually, and they used a bad API from the Expedia team to actually attack other players in the business. So that's what's actually happening. And Salt basically puts a layer on top of it because that's without us noticing, right? So yeah, what does it do? Like API security, that's what we're using the gateway for. We all in this session use the gateway in some way, shape, or form. We try to protect our gateway at the best of our ability. We put security on top of it, certificates, API keys, authorization headers, like all those things. But that's not going to stop hackers from trying, right? So hackers, and you see that resembled in the picture. I use a restaurant picture here. So you're sitting in a diner and you're ordering something from an API, right, from a waiter. Then the waiter goes to the kitchen, which is the server in this case. A lot of things can happen in these interaction patterns. The diners can give in a call to a waiter. The waiter can translate it wrong, maybe. You can change the order and charge at your table. You can change the order without the kitchen knowing. You can try to put in a large order to overwhelm the kitchen. All stuff that can happen with API security. Most of this stuff is tackled already through the layer 7 gateway, but not everything is tackled. And that's where Salt security comes in. You see here that we have been advancing this since 2019. Since 2019, Gartner and other people have actually created something which is called the OWASP Top 10. And obviously you're aware because we see this in everything in our business. So you see this is basically a collection of most known attacks that hackers use. And as you also see that most of these attacks are mitigated by the API gateway already out of the box, or can be built inside policies to counter those. But not everything can be countered, because something like I give you the example about Expedia is outside the vision of the gateway, because it's an authorized call, as was the case with American Airlines. So that goes through. So then you need some kind of other tools, some tools that actually handle the zero trust, as shown in this picture here, because yeah, and what's the typical solution right now in most of these use cases and in this business? It's AI. AI can actually see way more than we can see in the logging. Like we could actually look at policies all day, look at the policy manager, or look at Grafman created logs from the gateway. We could do that and take a look at it by our human eye. But what if we could leverage the power of AI, artificial intelligence, to actually check all those things for us, to make sure that if they see abnormalities, then they could act on it. Because obviously you don't want just discovery, you also want it to interact with the gateway back. And that's exactly what we have built alongside Salt Security. So in a sense, it's about discovering APIs, it's about runtime protection, but also continuous improvements on your API. So not only do you want to actually see something happening in a dashboard, but you also want stuff remediated to the gateway. Continue a little bit. And yeah, bottom line, it's about the how matters more to us than the what. And what I mean by that is actually very simple. When there's a hack attack, you always want to know, was it my gateway? Did not configure my policies correctly? Was it an external error? The how matters a lot to us in our business, and the how is not always seen by us. We need external tools to be able to see where vulnerabilities are and how to counter them. Salt security in action. I'm going a little bit faster here. Salt has many ways of collecting the data that comes from clients, then API gateway, and then to a server. They offer solutions based on other gateways also. They offer solutions based on a microservices layer. They offer solutions based on a load balancing or on directly on the cloud. And we at Enable You actually have built the integration that Layer 7 is going to use. So Layer 7 is also going to be on this list, and it's powered by Enable You right now. It's policies based, and we will show you all about that. What do we do? We mirror the traffic. We send it to a hybrid server from Salt Security. So there is no direct connection to the AI. There is a hybrid server in between, and the hybrid server has a purpose because it does data classification, it does data masking, and it does stripping of the data. Because obviously you can imagine you need the direct data, the HTTP layer data. You need it unsSL'd, so because you obviously need to check the bodies to see if there are some malicious content in the call. So that's what the hybrid server does. It wraps that traffic. So for instance, a social security number gets grayed out. The data gets grayed out. Obviously, it's totally wiped from the call, but you can still see that there should be a social security number there. And that's obviously to spot if there are abnormalities. That's the way to the Salt Security platform. Hybrid server collects that data, then sends it to the AI tool, and the AI tool starts to work. It starts to learn about the APIs that the customer has. It starts to learn patterns also, like when are these APIs being hit? What's the normal behavior of an API? For instance, a use case at the customer is that this API runs daily, and the next Wednesday it doesn't run. So those type of abnormalities also get spotted by Salt. And then obviously, this is not enough yet. You want this also to remediate back, not just to alerting systems, to Slack or webhooks or Splunk or any kind of other tool that you might use, or Snowflake. But also you want this to impact in the gateway, because if you see something, you want to act on it, and you don't want to go through the gateway and log into the policy manager and actually block an IP. No, you want that automated. And that's actually what we've built and what we'll show. So we've built all this stuff. We mirror the traffic, we analyze the traffic, we made a remediation, and we obviously in the future you will solve stuff before stuff happens, right? But you first need to establish what they call in the AI a baseline. So this is an overview picture. I'm gonna have Pam also send this picture and this presentation to you guys so you can read more in detail. I'm running a little bit on time here. So, but this is basically what I've just already talked about. Layer 7 has policies in place. We've built those policies built on top of a layer so that we asynchronously can send the messages to the hybrid server. It goes to the Salt Security AI. In the Salt Security, you can build any kind of workflow that you want to interact with. For instance, this is a very severe prior one. You want maybe a nuclear option. You want to actually close down a policy. You actually want to deactivate the policy to make sure that the hacker cannot continue his malicious intent. Or maybe you want to block an IP. Maybe you want to take a little bit less severe actions, but still do something automatically back into the layer 7. This is obviously branded, hashed. This is also protected, so Salt cannot, without any bad configuration, impact your total gateway. We've built the policies in such a way that it should work on every gateway, but that it's also still protects your gateway. So for instance, if you don't hook it up to all your policies, it cannot impact policies that you do not want to impact by salt. But obviously there's some discussion for that, because it can be interesting to do it globally on your gateway, but it also may be interesting to only take a few APIs where you want this to work for. So going into the details, this is the use cases that my colleague Tijs is all going to show you from a gateway perspective, and then he's going to show you how that impacts the salt dashboard, how that gets filled with attackers, and then the way back all the way to remediation. So this is remediation. We've built a couple of remediation actions. We can block out IP automatically. We can send signals. We could also do a manual trigger from the salt security dashboard, because you could imagine that you maybe want a human behind the dashboard actually checking whether this action is severe or not to impact on the gateway. So this is basically my handover point to Thijs, and Thijs is going to take you to the real meat and potatoes of this demo. He's going to show you what he has built, how it works. He has worked alongside Christian, also in packaging it well, so it should work with any gateway. Thijs, I'm handing it over to you.
Okay, hopefully you see an old gateway, 10.1. No?
Yeah, we see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, this demo includes 3 GUIs. One is an old gateway, the other one is Postman, and the last one is the Salt Security Dashboard. I'll start with the gateway. I've got a service here. It's just for demo purpose. It's called Demo Salt. What it does, when it goes override, it will go to the same gateway and go to the response service. So it's this one. This will return an OK message with the current time and a request ID I've put in. But I made a big mistake in this service on purpose. I'm asking for basic credentials, but it's in an at least folder, you should see. So when they're not there, it will still continue processing. So they will still reach the response service. I can show you hide control. So I can show you a demo. Of course, it's not working now. It's a good one. It's strange. It should work. Maybe it has something to do with calling it an IP address. Oh, I see. There's some question with it. My bad. Okay. Sending it. It's giving an OK message with the current timestamp in the Netherlands, of course. Works all fine. What it will do now, it will get here some information from the request, the salt request encapsulated version. It will check if there's an HTTP basic credentials. No, there are. As you can see here, Jan Jansen, welcome 01. And it will route it to the response service. And afterwards, it will create a salt response. It will get the information from the response and put it in a message for the salt platform. What all will be sent in the audit sync policy. As you can see here, saying salt sent. And that is the encapsulated version what sends the information from the request as well from the response body to the salt platform. And for now, it's all going fine. I've sent a lot of messages today, but so gee, yeah, it's now 5659. Now, if I send another message, it will add one. But now I will send a message with a code injection in it. Some scripting alert. The authorization header is still there. I will send it. Still getting 200 OK because I didn't put any assertion in the policy that blocks code injection. Now I go to dashboard again. And I will see an attack. I would expect an attack. One open attack. Okay. Okay, because I did it earlier today, there's already one. It's made this one higher, one attack more. I can take a remediation from the dashboard. Take action. In this case, I will block the IP address where it's coming from. I'll put apply. Now it blocks this IP, my IP address for 30 seconds. So let's send a message. It's forbidden. Your IP address has been blocked. It's now 30 seconds, but it's just for demo purpose. I can keep it blocked all day if I want. I have to wait till it's unblocked. That's working again. So the 30 seconds are over. Then I have another example where I sent the same requests but without authorization header. So here we're sending it with basic authentication. Now I'm sending it without. I'll send it and should be. See. It's this one. It should be getting to 1, but no, it's not doing it right now. But in this case, I would not block the IP address because I have a security breach. I would want to block the entire service. So I created something to disable the service. And to disable this demo salt service. So can take action normally. Don't know why I can't. Probably because there isn't an IP address. No. I will take this one for now. Why can I? Somehow I can take action. That's strange. Okay, don't know why, but what I created was integration action. Let's block the service. What it actually does, it checks if I'm coming from the salt security platform. And then it will see what service is attacked. And it will do a Grafman call to disable the service. and give it a response that it's blocked, and then it won't work anymore. And I think I can manage without the salt platform. I'm not sure. Let me create another deck. That should be easier. Okay, here's the deck action. I can disable the service. IP address not needed, but anyway. Sadly, Markets isn't disabling the service.
Yeah, it's coming up for errors in the salt security. Maybe we could just wrap it up.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so what we've built is, well, it's running now, but sadly we had some issues earlier this morning with the salt security dashboard not populating back to us. But as you can see that this leverages a couple of components that Thijs shown us. It leverages Grafman to impact the policies back, but also yeah, take care of the remediation action. It takes care of sending the data in a correct way to the AI, and it leverages salt security out of the box.
I've just let me, I've mixed this up. Let me enable this again. That will work, I think.
Okay.
No. No. Okay. Forget it.
So are there any questions about this on how to maybe implement it? You're interested in it, because yeah, we can tell you a little bit more then. Is there anyone interested in knowing more about this? Maybe doing a similar use case with another kind of product like salt, maybe? I see no responses in the chat. Does that mean that it's clear and everybody understands what we have built and how we built it, or?
I'm not seeing any questions either, just so you know. I can, however, unmute everyone. Now everyone should be able to come off mute if they'd like to speak.
Yeah, that's a good question by Ben. We have actually
Yes,
two
Ben.
POVs. Yeah, we have two POVs running currently. It's still POV. Why? Because most of this technology is pretty new, right? So no name, salt security, all new names in the business. We're currently running two POVs. One is from an internal customer from us that I probably cannot share, and other one is with ShopRite in South Africa. That's been using the gateway for over many years. So and both are looking good, and both are, yeah, from the overhead perspective, running pretty well. So the overhead and the impact on the gateway is pretty minimal. and that really enhances their security because they have a lot of 200 OK APIs basically. They have a zero trust zone, and if that zone gets breached, yeah, that's where salt security comes in. So yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Else we'll start to wrap it up. And always feel free to contact me or Aaron. We both are now currently in charge of this from our perspective. So if you have any interest in this, showing the demo with Salt or just from the gateway side, we will be happy to acquaint you with that.
Thanks, guys. Great demo. I like the solution.
Okay, and just as a reminder, you guys can come off mute if you'd like to ask any questions.
One final call, I think, Pam, for everyone.
Yeah, sure.
One
more time, give you guys a minute or two if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, the question that we still get that might be interesting is, what do you do if a load balancer is in front of the gateway? Then obviously catching the IP might be a little bit challenging. We're currently working with some workarounds for that to actually be able also to handle that use case. So yeah, it's different for every scenario based on your setup, but I think we can manage any kind of setup basically. But the question that I got also from the other POV was if you can make manual triggers or automatic triggers. The answer is obviously yes. Depending on your use case, you either want them manually or want them automatically. Another question that might pop up also is, does it handle clusters also? So if you have a layer 7 cluster, yes, it handles clusters, but then you have to obviously, yeah, probably have to rewrite stuff in the policy currently, because currently it's working single node, but it can obviously work also on multiple nodes or cluster based. So one round for everyone still. If there is a question, if there are any, yeah, just reach out.
There is a question in the questions panel about, I think maybe someone didn't quite catch how Salt knew there was a threat in the demo. Did we address that?
I missed the last part, Greg. I didn't hear the last part.
Basically, the question is, how does Salt know that there is a threat, like in the demo we were giving?
Yeah, so
there are multiple things. One of them is they get a, let's say we're the missing authorization header, because they don't use a username password. They have thousands of good messages with 200 OK, and they see there's always an authorization header. So when I send a message without an authorization header, they know there's something wrong. So they put it up with an alert in the dashboard. The same could be said when always a user with IP address 123 is doing the request always, and then there's just one time with another IP address. They see there is some unusual traffic, and I will put up an alert as well. And then you can still see what you want to do with the alert. It could be there's a new user that's using the API, so you say it's okay, there's a new IP address, it's all fine. But also could be unusual attack, and you want to block it somehow. And for the code injection, of course, they check the body and they see there's some code injection in it, no request. So they raise an alert.
So yeah, what it's doing basically, what Thijs is saying is exactly it's establishing a baseline So it learns a baseline, and if there are any abnormalities in baseline, it triggers events. That does not mean directly that you should always act on those events, because it could just be, as Thijs said, another IP address, you're using a different computer or whatever, but it detects those abnormalities. First, you establish the baseline, then you check against those baselines. You do have to feed it data. A question that we also got during the testing with Christian and with Saul was, how many requests does the AI need to be able to learn? And from our experience, you need about 1,000 requests to the API to be able to establish a baseline.
And just as a reminder too, I will be sending out some slides, the link to this recording, and an opportunity for you to join us at API Days Paris in December.
Okay, thanks a lot for your attention. I think we're gonna wrap it up, right, Pam?
Yeah, I think so. I've not seen any more questions come in. So I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Thijs.
Yep, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, have a great one.
Everyone have a great day. Thank you.